All right, all right. Hello, everybody. How's it going today, Mr. Mike Fultz? We've been enjoying the Timberwolves Hawks game as much as we can right now, correct?
As much as we can.
How are you tonight?
It's a good game when Jim Pete is talking about golf for 3 minutes before the first half even ends. That's when you know it's a pretty good one. Trae Young might score 60 points tonight. But I do like these North Star City Edition jerseys.
Yeah, they're looking pretty cool. I definitely don't mind them. You know, I'm a big fan of the obnoxious green jerseys, so I always like seeing those. And these aren't, in my opinion, as cool as the purple city jerseys from last year.
No, one of these days I'm going to bust mine out. I got the D Rose one.
Yeah. So what are your reactions from the first half of this game? Obviously, Trae Young is on his way to 60s, halfway there, and he's draining threes from what it seems like 40 feet away.
I mean, first thing is, like, he's shooting well tonight, but if you look at the season, he hasn't been shooting well. But he makes a bunch of free throws, so you got to not foul him. And it's hard because he's little, he gets calls. But, like, I mean, they shot more than twice as many free throws as we did in the first half. And we shot ours 100%, but we only had 7. We were 7 of 7. So you got to stop fouling all of them, but especially Trae Young because he makes every single free throw.
Yeah, he's 8 of 13 for free. Oh, that's field goals. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, and he's hitting 32-foot threes. He just hit one.
Yeah.
And we're giving away too many easy buckets. But the beginning, I was excited to see Jared Vanderbilt starting.
Mm-hmm.
He was energy right away.
Tell me, you like seeing him start rather than come off the bench? I mean, obviously, especially when Cat's out. But what about if Honcho comes back? I'm happy seeing Vanderbilt get far more playing time than him. What are your thoughts?
He's energy and defense and rebounding with the starters. Now tonight the bench is missing him, which is why we kind of hung with him, and then the bench got in, and they don't have Vanderbilt now.
No.
And
Coach Saunders is asking a rookie to pick up the energy level that Vanderbilt brought, and that's a lot to ask of a rookie in McDaniels.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And McDaniels looked great in the last game, the one we should have won.
Yep.
Which is another pot probably. But I mean, there were some highlights. Nas had a good block. There were a couple good blocks in the first half. Russell kind of started cooking kind of towards the end. He hit like about 3 in a row, I think. But our rebounding's been terrible.
We don't have a presence off the boards, off the glass. It's a completely different team without Cat, and you're asking a lot of players that aren't used to carrying a load that Cat does.
It's crazy how much we're missing Cat's defense this year.
Mm-hmm.
Considering how everybody always talked about how bad he was on D and figured it out. But I don't know. I think it's a little maturity sign and everything that happened to him this year. I think he's like grown up, complaining less, rebounding more than he did, which was already good. And just being that anchor in the back of the D. And we don't have that because Nas is not that. And we need it. And, you know, it could be a case like people are talking about PJ Tucker and could be a real thing. Like they're making offers and
wow,
see what
happens.
happens.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, because him next to Cat is a perfect pairing, but like, do you go all in this year? I don't know.
I wouldn't go all in. I wouldn't give away any more draft picks. I mean, what do they think they're going to have to give to get PJ Tucker? Just Culver? They got to give a Kogi away? I wouldn't do that. I like Kogi. I think he's worth holding on to.
I think probably some smaller pieces and maybe a second-round pick. They should not give away a first-round pick for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that I don't know. Like we've looked a little lost and bad, and
we look a little lost, and it appears we're lost not just because Cat is hurt and out, but because is Ryan Saunders trying to do too much to find something that works? Like his defensive schemes look like he's trying one thing. He's running a zone defense 1 minute and then he's flipping to man, and he looks a little lost. I don't know what's going on there.
Well, that was a nice move by Beasley. We just gave up 2 more offensive rebounds, by the way.
Yeah.
But I think one thing, I mean, some of the best coaches in the league, Nick Nurse is known for switching up defensive styles multiple times a game and every night. Man, he cannot miss. Trae Young. But yeah, Nick Nurse does it all the time, but our players are young. I mean, we have the youngest team in the league. We need to learn one defense well and maybe learn 1 or 2 others as the season goes along. We didn't get a preseason, all that. I don't know if you're caught up.
I'm a little behind you, but
D'Lo to Vando, alley-oop coming your way.
Nice. That's good to see.
We'll come back here.
I think Vanderbilt has a good connection with D'Lo and Beasley, obviously, but
I mean, honestly, if we were a good team and we can get him coached up, he could be our kind of technically starting 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How is that not a foul? Vando just got fouled on the offensive rebound. Come on, guys. Okogie rips the ball out. Sorry, I'm distracted. The game is starting to cook. We're starting to cook.
Well, good. I think they need to turn it on. The fact that we were down at halftime by double digits was a scary thing because this team hasn't been proven to close out the second half at all.
Yeah, this pod is sponsored by LaCroix
Nice.
because I didn't want to have a beer because I didn't want to depress myself anymore.
I'll sponsor it by Invictus, a Blaine brewery in Minnesota. And I do want to depress myself a little bit more.
Whoa, they just showed that replay. I got to see this. Wow.
I know we talked about it last week, but what do you think? What's going to be the biggest thing other than Cat coming back healthy to help push this team in the right direction?
I mean,
is it Vanderbilt?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of leadership. I think these young guys are going to get, most of these guys that are younger, like when they were in college or whatever, they won wherever they were. They were at least on an average team, and the grind's going to get to them, and they're going to start listening a little bit more, I think. Hopefully he doesn't lose the locker room, Saunders. But I think just gelling is going to help because people forget that. It's one thing to have a young team. We had massive turnover last season before the pandemic. Didn't play forever. Compressed preseason, all of it. And so it's going to take a little while, but I think just Cat being back will help. And getting these guys like Vando and McDaniels, everyone minutes.
And it's hard to give them minutes or have them gel when they can't hang out together. They can't practice as much or haven't before the season because of the pandemic and restrictions.
Well, you think about last season. Last season, they went on a team vacation right before the season, and it looked hilarious. You saw them; they were making the rookies sing karaoke. And it was all over social media. Looked like a fun time. They went to the Bahamas or something. I don't know. But and we started last season 10-10, and then the infamous Jersey Tuck Chris Paul game happened, and we literally fell apart. And then injuries hit, and everything just blew up. But I think there's something to that we had. We got rid of Butler. Everyone's kind of feeling a little bit on a high and everything, and then it just fell off. And so going back to the last game that we should have won against
it was painful to watch that against the Magic.
We were up by 10 with just under 3 minutes left. And on that last play, I listened to a podcast, the Dane Moore podcast, which is a pretty good one for the Wolves. He's a good guy, and he's there. You know, he's on the press row, and he said that Saunders and Vanderwall, David Vanderpool, is that his name?
Vanderpool, yeah.
Were screaming at Beasley in that last play because he was supposed to be back and guarding Cole-Anthony. And they said that he kind of just jogged back. And then Cole-Anthony, of course, takes the inbound, goes down, scores. And it's like, so they know what they're doing a little bit. But the big question was, when Vando gets the rebound with 4 seconds left in the game, we're up by 2, you need to call a timeout immediately because he's a terrible free throw shooter. Right there, you call a timeout, you get all shooters on the court, get the ball inbounded, they foul one of them, and at least he hits one free throw. But Saunders, we went into with that loss, we had 2 timeouts in our pocket.
Yeah.
Like,
sorry, Trey hit another 3.
I know, he's just cooking right now.
It's crazy. He's almost to 40 points with 3 minutes, 3.5 left in the third quarter.
And there's been some amazing shots, and he's also hit like 4 uncontested layups,
wide open
uncontested
threes. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed in the coaching and play calling at the end of the game. Not just the Magic game, but a few. The game that Anthony Edwards passed, drove it to the rim when we needed a 3. That was a coaching moment that Saunders could have coached him or the guys up.
Yeah.
And he didn't. And the Magic game was an example of coaching the guys up when he needed to, and he didn't. And I'm getting a little frustrated by that.
We all are.
Yeah.
I mean, again,
also,
we talked about it before. No, it's okay. The Edwards thing, yeah, he did drive in, but he realized what he needed to do. And there's 4 Wolves players standing there.
Yeah.
No cuts, no back screens, nothing. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, you guys got to move too. It's the last play of the game.
What's the deal with the game tonight? And Edwards seems like he's not playing. Did something happen I missed? He hasn't gotten hardly any minutes.
I mean, this has been the worry, though, too. When people looked at his comps and they were choosing who they were going to pick this season, everybody was like, well, this guy profiles like Andrew Wiggins. He's going to have you hot and cold. He's going to sometimes play D, and he's going to disappear for stretches of the game. And that's exactly what has happened so far. He's still young, and I think he's got more charisma than Wiggins, so hopefully he picks it up. But at this point, it's kind of scary because you're looking at LaMelo Ball. I mean, hell, nobody wants to talk about it, but we could have taken Wiseman.
Yeah.
Used Karl, traded him. Obviously, D'Lo would not have liked that. But we could have taken Halliburton.
At this point, we're looking like we didn't get maybe we got the most athletically talented player, but we didn't get the most basketball talented player. Right?
Yeah, I don't know if we caught I think it was the first quarter, but Edwards, granted, these would have been amazing number 1 play, top 10 ESPN dunks, but he missed 2 dunks in the first half. And probably a little too far out. But at the same time, I think they've rammed into his head, it's a 3 or you're driving to the basket, and preferably driving to the basket. And he thinks he's getting fouled. Did you see that article?
No.
He says he's getting fouled a lot and not getting calls, which happens to rookies sometimes, unless they're like Zion. Yeah, that's fine. So then basically Saunders' response was, well, then just dunk. Because he's been doing a lot of double clutch when he's already there. And it's like, you beat all these guys. Why are you double clutching right now? Go. So now he's trying to dunk everything, which could be awesome once he figures it out. But at this point, they're going to pack the paint. They're like, we're not giving you any easy buckets because we know this team can't shoot. So we're going to make you shoot. And we're going to wall the paint. and you're going to deal with it.
And when Cat's not in the game, it's easy for them to do that even more against him.
Yep.
I think he's lacking a little bit of confidence right now. And, maybe the presence of Cat having a more of a scoring threat that he is can open the lane up for him to have confidence to drive it to the basket.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised he's in the game right now, which is great. He's only got 10 minutes in the first half. This is the first time in the game in the second half.
It seems strange. Like at this point, you could just at this point, if you're just trying things, like let's try a super small lineup. Let's put Edwards at the 3 or the 4. Like, let's go.
So I guess if we're going to talk about trying things,
he just missed a layup. Like I would love to see the stat, but yeah. I believe 100% the Wolves have missed more layups than any other team in the league this season.
That was an unlucky layup, man. He just rolled it out. It rolled right around that rim.
And then a turnover. There you go.
Who the heck is number 8 on the Hawks?
Number 8, the dude with the big fro?
No.
There you go. McDaniel just looks so young.
Yeah.
And I think he's just going to be one of those, like, Brandon Ingram, Corey Brewer guys who, like, even when they put on muscle, they still look
They're still scrawny.
Yeah. But I love his energy, and he's been hitting shots. He just missed that free throw, of course, but he's been all right. It's a good idea at this point without Cat and with everything going the way it's going to try some of these guys, but at some point you got to have a little bit of consistency. Layman's in.
Wow. Jake Layman sighting.
Jake Layman.
So, yeah, it's cool that they're trying and they're letting these younger guys play. But at what point do you say, is the season gone? Is it worthwhile for this team? And I don't really want to go there yet, but you do have to think about it.
About tanking?
You tank so you don't have to give away a pick. Next year's draft is big.
The problem is, unless you're going to tank for the worst record in the league, you can fall out of the top 3.
Yeah.
Because they changed the rules. And so it's not even about the number 1. It's about falling out of the top 3 because 2 teams could jump you, no problem. So unless you're the worst team in the league and you have, a pretty good odds of a top 3 pick, like you're just going to, I don't know, it could be a waste of time. You might as well develop these guys. And, after who we picked this year, it's like, I remember I got into it. Oh man, they just hit another 3. I got into it with a Pistons fan on Twitter because he was like, "Why did the Wolves get the pick? They've gotten a first-round pick multiple times, or for number 1 pick."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "We've been in the lottery 30 odd times in our history, and we have moved up 1 time, and that was last year. It was the first time ever that the Timberwolves moved up in the draft. So the chances we move down are great. And now the odds are worse. Like you're more likely to move down. So yeah, it's tough. And with our lottery luck, we should have had Shaq. Nobody talks about it, but we were the worst team in the league that year. And man, and then the Magic did it to us again the other day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would have been nice. It would have been a franchise-changing moment to have not missed out on the Shaq and moved down in that draft. And that's
all right. So it's the end of 3 quarters. Let's see what we got here.
Here's our box score after 3.
Well, I can't see. I don't think.
Oh, you're right.
What do we got here? Beasley is leading the Wolves at 17. We're shooting 27% from 3. They're shooting 44%. Man, we've already had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We've had the entire bench play a minute at least. Wait,
Yeah,
James only had 1 minute?
that was his first time on the court just now at the end of that third quarter.
That seems wrong.
Mine says he played 2.5 minutes.
Oh, on mine it says 1 minute, but I guarantee he played more than that.
Yeah, give it a refresh. Yeah, I'm a little confused by the lineup. It's nice to see Vanderbilt getting all the playing time, and you don't have any other real options other than Ed Davis to come off the bench for him. So give that time to Vanderbilt. I'm not excited with Ed Davis. I don't need to see much more of him. He's a body. Let him come off the bench. But as far as why is Anthony Edwards only played 15 minutes?
I'll tell you why. Because he is 0 of 6 right now.
Yeah, that's a problem.
If you're 0 of 6,
what do they?
Yeah, I get it. But like if you're 0 of 6, he's got 1 rebound, no assists.
What do you tell shooters
when
they're not?
Turnover. Edwards is negative 23.
Yeah.
Oof. Jake Layman is the only Timberwolf right now. Oh no, Jake Layman and Josh Okogie are both.
Okogie's a +1, and Layman is. Yeah.
And Layman's played like 90 seconds. Not great.
I mean, this is a tale of two teams right now we're watching tonight. You got the Hawks, who have managed to build not just a young core of a team, but surround that team with talented veterans, and really should be able to do something this year. I was surprised last year. They didn't do more, and then you have the T-Wolves, who are constantly trying to figure it out and not nailing it with any picks. At this point, the best draft, other than Cat, that we've had has been Okogie in my mind.
KG back in the day, but that's about it. Marbury.
Marbury was good, yeah.
Is Edwards wearing 2 different color shoes? Or are they like half and half? There you go. Come on.
Jordan McLaughlin looks like it. Oof. Oh, the inside and the outside is different colors. Yeah, Edwards is.
Ooh, hard.
Ooh, that's his 8th block by Clint Capella in the game, if I remember right.
This game?
Yes.
Unbelievable. I got to see this. He's got 8 blocks.
Clint Capella had 7 at the end of the third quarter, and that was his 8th.
8 blocks.
So he could end up with a triple-double by the end of the night with blocks.
Wow. What was I going to say? Yeah, I mean, like, it's tough because we never build any momentum. Like, it's like you either got to, like, play with the young team and build them up for a couple years, and it takes a couple years. Or you got to bring in some veterans and whatever. And the Hawks went all in this year. They brought in a bunch of veterans. And it feels like this season, the Timberwolves keep playing teams that are hungry and need a win. It's like when we played Washington and they were 0-5, they needed a win. And we keep getting that team over and over again, with the exception of like the Lakers and the Clippers. And it just sucked because when Cat got hurt got COVID, we were coming into this stretch of winnable games, winnable on paper. And Cat being out is devastating because like I feel like he's going to come back and it's going to be like, tonight we have the Nuggets and the Lakers and the 76ers. And it's just going to get worse and worse. And that's like, I mean, we have no chance.
No, we are getting teams that know we are a win for them. They know they can get an easy win from us, especially when Cat's out.
But they're also hungry. I mean, that makes a difference. You get a team that is supposed to be good, like the Hawks, that have been struggling recently. They come into Minnesota and they're like, okay, guys, we've lost 4 of 5. We're winning tonight. Like, everybody all in. This is a playoff game.
Yeah.
There's 70 games this season, so it's like every game matters a little bit more. But I got one more interesting thing for you, Garrett.
All right.
So, and this is maybe an example of the Wolves' curse. I don't know. Tom Thibodeau has now been the head coach of 3 NBA teams. In his first year as a head coach of the Chicago Bulls, they were the number 1 defense in the league.
Mm-hmm.
In his first year, this year, coaching the New York Knicks, they are 3rd in the league in defense through 16 games. The Timberwolves, in Tom Thibodeau's first year of coaching, 27. Is that just us? Like, what is it? Like, I don't know. That's why he was so mad all the time, and he's mad all the time.
Is he still yelling ice on the sidelines for the Knicks?
That's interesting because I haven't seen a single Knicks game.
I haven't either.
I watch a lot of basketball. They're never on, so I haven't seen them. I would love to. I would love to see Talkin. It's like, but I'm wondering that because I'm wondering if he modernized it. Because when he was running ice with the Wolves, that defense was done. No one else was using it.
Mm-hmm.
He was the only league. But it was fun to watch the Wolves broadcast and just hear it. It's like, ah!
Yeah, I have to imagine a lot of our defensive problems were, the lack of a defensive center and the way Cat in his first year wanted to step out behind the arc, so you left it open.
Yeah, I mean, we've been a poor rebound. We've had some good rebounders, but we've been a poor rebounding team as a whole since I can remember. I mean, you look at players like Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, who aren't big and they rebound above their position,
Yeah.
Trae Young will get 7 rebounds in a game. And there was players, I mean, Wiggins was notorious. Like, he had like 3 10-rebound games in his career last year.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable. Like, how are you that athletic and that tall and you have 3 10-rebound games? I mean, if anything, I would just be, tonight I'm going to get 10 rebounds. That's what I'm going to do.
Isn't that what that was the beautiful thing about watching KG play, is he never gave up, and he knew that he was going to get any ball that came off that rim, no matter who was standing between him and the basket. He was getting it. And the way he would tip it, to himself 5 times before he hauled it in, it was beautiful.
There's an art to knowing where it's going to bounce off the hoop and just being there.
Yeah.
And the thing is, too, some of those guards are, because they're good shooters, they can tell based on where the ball is going in the air, like where it's going to bounce off the rim and where it's going to go. Whereas like the big guys, they're terrible shooters. So they are just down there being big. But I think that, if I am Saunders, make it simple. Be like, we're going to get every rebound this game. I don't want you guys to worry about anything. Like, I want you guys to get every rebound. If they get some open shots or whatever occasionally, fine. Let's make them beat us. But we're not going to give up second chance looks. We're not going to give up these easy buckets. Let's wall off the paint with whatever we have, even though we don't really have rim protectors. Let's do it. I mean, I can't even imagine what it's going to be like when the Bucks come here with Giannis, or the Lakers again, obviously. But we just give up so many free looks at the hoop.
Yeah. Second chance points are just killing us. And our ability to not get any putbacks. I mean, Naz Reid is our only guy hauling the ball down.
And how aren't you like coaching him up?
Right.
Need you boxing out not offensively, maybe a little bit, but like defensively, we need you to do this. And it just seems like there's always that guy sitting behind. Like there are so many times when there are 3 Timberwolves players and the other player gets the rebound. There's one of their team, 3 of our team, and it's like, how is this happening? You're taller, you can jump higher. What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't have the answers. That's why I'm just a fan spectator and not a coach.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's fun. I mean, like I've still like watching the NBA, but it's the Timberwolves this season look lost. Um, they just look bad, and like there's been so many seasons where like we looked okay, but
Yeah,
then we got hit by injuries, whatever. Butler wants to leave, etc. Um, and it's a shame because the national media is like, oh, they were terrible this year. It's like, well, there were some extenuating circumstances. This year there's Cat, but like, I don't know, like,
I still hold out hope that if Cat comes back healthy, which should be the next game, or how long is he going to sit out? I hope that he's doing all right with COVID and is recovering, because it seems like it's been over 10 days or 2 weeks, however long. But
yeah.
I also fully understand that not everybody's the same, and if he needs the time off, that he needs to take it.
Well, he's
Don't.
got a special situation too, where I mean, he put out a post and he's like, "I'm going to take this very seriously, obviously, because he's lost 6 family members to COVID,
Yeah,
and as well he should."
life is too important. Basketball is a game, right? I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, he's got to do what's right for him, and that's being healthy and continuing to live on. So, yeah, take as much time as you want. But the point is there's light at the end of the tunnel. When Cat comes back, this team still is talented enough, and I look forward to seeing him and Beasley continue his offensive scoring.
He's been
That
great.
was the first 3 that Trae Young didn't make from 5 feet behind the 3-point line.
Thank God. Beasley kind of shut down though. He's been at 17 for quite a while. We are now down to 20.7% from 3.
Man.
Oh my gosh, did that really just bounce in? Are you kidding me? Wow. Well, we're about to hit Lawler's Law here, Garrett. Do you know Lawler's Law?
No, hit me it up.
Oh, Capella, another block. He's going to have 12 blocks tonight. Oh, and we fouled Trae Young. It was barely a foul. It was one of those head kickback fouls.
Oh, yeah.
Like him and Harden are the best at that, where they're just like dribbling and then they just go. Ugh.
Yeah.
It ain't fair. All right, how many blocks does Capella have now? 9.
Yeah, that's got to be 9.
Let's check on the Timberwolves plus minuses here. Nas Reed is +2. Layman's +5 now. Okogie's at 1 still. McDaniels is at -26. That's pretty brutal.
Yeah, that's not good, but
Edwards is now 0 of 9 with 2 rebounds.
ouch. That's surprising. He gonna lay a goose egg in his first NBA game? First goose egg game?
No, he's already had one.
Has he really?
Yeah, he already had a game where he had nothing. I can't remember which game. Capella, another block. That's 10.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
It's a show. I'll give it that. Well,
It's
and
something.
you wonder too, like, road teams are winning slightly more than home teams this season.
Why would that be?
Yeah. Well, I mean, but you would still think like you get your own rims, your own locker room, whatever. Like maybe these things would help, but it's not. All right, 24-point comeback. It's been done against us. You remember the was it Sacramento? Yeah, Sacramento last year, where we had them by 27 in the fourth quarter and we lost.
No, say that again.
We were up on the Kings last year by 27 in the fourth quarter and we lost.
Ouch.
At the end of the game, De'Aaron Fox purposefully missed his free throw off the rim, slammed it to himself, and then made the two. It was Wolves basketball. And that in the first half, did you see when Capella missed a free throw and the rebound just slowly bounced down the lane to him and no one boxed him out?
I didn't get a chance to peek in until the second quarter tonight, but I believe it. We haven't had a defensive energy.
But I mean, I knew that in second grade when I started.
Yeah.
Like, I was terrible at shooting and terrible at dribbling. But boxing out one man to one man at the free throw line is something they teach you when you're very young.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And I do think that maybe Saunders is a little too passive and too much of a nice guy.
I think he's, at this point, he's trying to be their friend more than he's trying to make them better. Yeah. Right?
You don't need to be Thibodeau because Thibodeau lost the team as well. But you got to find a middle ground and be good. Like, I mean, even Steve Kerr, like, remember, like, when the Warriors were just killing it and the whole talk was like, they're just a fun team and they're all here to have fun, which is like kind of insulting to everyone else. It's like, oh yeah, everyone else is trying hard and it's work and you guys are the only ones having fun.
Yeah.
But Steve Kerr would still blow up on the sidelines and get pissed off at his own players. Like, and it's interesting to see him now that they don't have the super team because you're really seeing something like the difference, you know. Take Popovich. Like, how many years did people think the Spurs had no chance at the playoffs and they just kept making it?
Yeah.
It's like,
but he was, I mean, I've always thought Pop was able to play his scheme, but get the most out of his players too, to make those Spurs teams great. Like, yeah, he always had Duncan, but he was able to get the most out of players like Tony Parker, Hito Turkoglu, remember him?
Well, and any random European. Every Spurs team has like two guys that come in, and you're like, who is this guy? Oh, what was that?
Clint Capella, 13 points, 19 rebounds, 10 blocks.
Is he going to have a triple-double? He's one rebound away from a triple-double.
Well, I would imagine so. He'll get an opportunity.
Oh, slam. It says something about both Trae Young and the Hawks that they are up by 24 with 5 minutes, and Trae Young is still in the game. He's like, I want 60, coach.
Yeah.
There we go. Edwards. Yeah.
He made one.
1 for 10.
Ooh, and then he threw it away.
You think Trae Young wore those shoes to troll us?
I can't see. Oh yeah. The obnoxious green.
All right, Edwards is feeling it. He hits it.
Yeah.
2 for 11, 3-pointer. All right, just 19 more points. I wish that when they did the player intros, instead of having their pictures, which we all know, they just showed their shoes, because I really want to see what J-Mac's shoes look like up close.
That would be cool.
They're like rainbow colored. I don't need to see any of their faces. I know what they look like.
When they're all supposed to be coming out with masks on.
All right, now Trae Young is sitting down. They're getting cocky. Now we're going to come back.
There we go. A rebound. Oh, McDaniels missed that dunk.
Oh, come on.
You just saw it.
Yeah, now you're ahead of me because I won that last Fando dunk. Oof.
How is this is probably the most playing time that Jalen Noel has gotten.
He's looked good for stretches. What's he had tonight? I mean, not too great tonight, but he's only took one shot, but he made it. Edwards 2 of 11. All right, plus minus leaders. McLaughlin +5. Okogie's still at +1. Did Okogie is he not playing this half? Did something happen to him?
Yeah, I feel like he has hardly been in the second half, but maybe they just said, "Don't go in, Josh. We need you to rest up." I don't know.
Well, it was
his ankle been doing? Right? Didn't he hurt his ankle earlier? That's what he was out for.
Yeah, and he might have come back too fast because Okogie is the kind of player that would do that.
Yeah.
No, I'm back. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see because, I mean, obviously this was kind of an early blowout, but a 20-point lead, if you can shoot some threes, doesn't really matter in the first half. But Saunders was 13 players deep in the first half. Like, even veteran teams don't do that. Like, I feel like he's just throwing stuff at the wall at this point.
I feel like he's been doing that for the last few weeks at this point. And there's another rebound, though.
All right. Let's go, Edwards. Oh, gosh. It just looks like sometimes he doesn't have a plan, and it's like, just be confident. It doesn't matter where you are. You can Euro step. Yeah, I thought when we first made the trade for D'Lo last year and Beasley and Wancho, I was like, we're going to be terrible on defense, but we're going to score like 120 points a game.
How often has that happened?
We don't have a system.
No.
And, well, I mean, Wancho's been terrible shooting this year. Russell hasn't even been great, and we don't have Cat. And it's just, I mean, Cat has a gravity to him as well, kind of like Steph Curry does. Like, Steph Curry does more than just what he does because they have to account for so much of him running around. There was an article the other day about him, like he runs 2.7 miles a game.
Yeah.
And you think about it, and there's so many Warriors blowouts back in the day where like he only played 25 minutes. Like, all right, guys, come on. Make this look less like a blowout.
Wow, there was a little reverse layup for Layman.
I thought he was going to jam it. I was getting excited. I love that, the white man dunk. Very few can be good at it. Blake Griffin, speaking of, they are our competition for the worst spot, the Detroit Pistons. Mm-hmm. Blake Griffin looks washed, and it's really sad. And he's kind of a dick on the court, so I don't totally mind it. I remember he called – it was Gorgie Jang. Something happened, and Gorgie started barking at him, and Griffin looked at him. They got a close-up. There we go. And
Daniels.
Griffin just goes to Gorgie Jang. He just goes, "You're a fucking backup." This is when Gorgie was starting for us because of injuries and whatever.
Yeah.
And it was just like, damn. And now he is toast. Griffin.
He's washed.
He's a jump shooter. He's a 6'8" plotting jump shooter.
And the way he jumps into his jump shot it's always looked really weird. Like his form, everything.
Rondo's hitting threes. That's how bad this is. Edwards. Oof, clank. Save. Clank.
Yeah, we can't make a shot, man.
I mean, so many of our guys, it looks like they're just going up uneven. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
They're trying too hard right now. You can tell the young guys. There's a good takeaway.
all right, make something happen, J-Mac. Yep. We made a layup.
I didn't realize that Jordan McLaughlin was a rookie last year.
Yeah. He was a two-way player. I think he
The
was.
beard just makes him look like he's in his mid-30s, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, like he's some kind of journeyman.
You're right.
Edwards, why do you pass that? I mean, we made it, but why did you pass it? You would have had 10 more shots than them?
Wow.
Unbelievable. Well, looks like we're toast. I don't think we're coming back.
No. What do you see for our next game coming up? I mean, we go Saturday playing the Pelicans.
Tomorrow, is it like a 6 game, 6 o'clock?
7 p.m. Central, it says.
I'm excited. I mean, like, I hope like they're full strength and we get to see that. Like, even if it means we lose, like, the funny thing is I've gotten to see a couple of Zion games this year, but he's been kind of like Andrew Wiggins. Like, he scores a very quiet 18 points whenever I watch them, but he's had some like 30-point games this
He's
season.
been pretty darn good the last few games for them. I think.
So I haven't gotten to see that, so I'm excited to see that. And I mean, I think I was a little bit wrong. I still don't think Brandon Ingram can be like the number one guy on a championship team.
Ooh,
Hey,
Kevin is here.
Hello.
Hello, Kevin.
come in.
How you doing, dude?
Good. Watching a terrible basketball game. Other than that, I'm doing good.
Terrible. We started at the beginning of the third quarter, and the game was pretty much over.
It's been a pretty depressing game there. There certainly hasn't been any point in the second half where we went, all right, here's where the run starts.
Well, you know, the secret is you don't have to blow leads if you never get one.
There you go.
I mean, the first half at least had like the Naz Reid dunk and a couple blocks and some exciting stuff. The second half has been like, if we score, it's like we hit a 3-foot jump shot.
It's been bad.
Well,
Kevin, we were just talking about the game tomorrow night. New Orleans, are you looking forward to anything there?
Let's see here. What's there to look forward to with that game? Well, Ricky Rubio, he was questionable for this game. Do you think he'll return tomorrow?
He played tonight.
Oh, he did play tonight. That's
He
good
did.
to hear. That's good to see.
no, we were talking about it. Saunders was 13 deep in the first half. He played the entire bench. Everyone got at least a minute.
Well, that's what you like to see. You see him developing everyone.
Yeah.
Get Ed Davis out there showing those kids how to play.
All right, it's hockey shifts. You all get 3 minutes.
Yeah.
You're out. It's not working.
Well, that works for the Wild. They're winning. Maybe it'll work for the Wolves.
Are the Wild winning this year? I have not watched a game.
Yeah, they've been pretty good. I think they're only played for 5 games, and they've only lost 1, maybe. They're 3-1, 4-1. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching some Zion tomorrow night. That should be fun.
Yeah.
Seeing Adams and Naz Reid, the battle of the giants.
Seeing the contrast between Ryan Saunders just quietly like doing his like little, and Stan Van Gundy just freaking out. Like, I watched a game the other day and he's just screaming. He got ejected, and it happened at commercial break. Like during the like commercial timeout, he's like they came back from the commercial and they're like, well, Stan Van Gundy got kicked off, and they just played this clip of him and he's just like screaming in the ref's face. So that'll be fun. Hopefully he gets ejected. That would make my day, especially if it's another 130-97 Wolves loss.
Mm-hmm. Does Stan Van Gundy still have that sweet mustache?
We'll never know. He wears a mask. I mean,
you guys,
like all coaches, he'll do this thing.
To talk to them.
you guys probably already talked about the debacle of the Orlando Magic game.
Yes.
Yeah, we did.
A little bit.
I mean, if you want to pry a little bit inside, we could address it again. But I didn't get to watch that game. I had to watch highlights, and it was just awful to watch Juancho miss free throws and then them make a three-pointer at
Vanderbilt.
Karl-Anthony.
Yeah, it was kind of an entire whole debacle for Vanderbilt, not calling the timeout. It would have been good for him to call the timeout in that situation.
Yeah.
Watching that game turning down with about 5 minutes left, with them up by 12 points, getting that feeling like, there's just, I don't want to get too optimistic, but how could they possibly let this one slip away? It can't possibly. And as much as the Magic seemed to want to let them win the game, it almost seemed like they had the double team on Fournier, and then they both slink off him. And they throw it over to Gordon. He misses the three-pointer that he should have made. He was so wide open for it. Vanderbilt getting the rebound, and oof.
Yeah, so here's my fun story. So I work as a producer for a home shopping network, and I produced a couple hours on air. Then I had a little break for a couple hours. I had to prep my next shows, and then I produced a couple more hours. So in this break time between my shows, I had the T-Wolves on, and it was like a delayed game, so I could fast forward. So I'm kind of speed watching it, but also like doing my prep. And when I had to go back on air, there were 3 minutes left, and we're up by 10. And I walked into the control room, started producing the show, assuming the Timberwolves won. Checked the score about 20 minutes later. I was like, oh my God, what did we do? And then I went back home and watched it. And I mean, just everything went wrong from all levels. I was telling Garrett earlier, it was like did you see the Kings game last season?
Oh, yeah. Another horrid one.
Where we were up by 27 in the fourth.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't have to watch that just to have my hopes built up that we were going to win.
Garrett, just watch the first 3 quarters. It looks like we destroyed them.
It looks like a win.
You will think we looked like the better team for 95% of the game.
Wow.
Who's good? I just flipped it over to Philly, Boston. Philly looking tough this year. They finally got shooting. Like they never understood. It's like you got these 2 big guys and you got to surround them with shooting. Now they got shooting and they look good.
It's Maxey, man. That guy's been pretty good, right? A rookie from Kentucky.
I mean, their whole team. Like who else did they bring in? So they traded Richardson for Seth Curry.
He came back tonight too, right?
One of the best in the game, and so he just gives them so much more space. And yeah.
You say that Seth Curry is one of the best in the games?
Just call him S. Curry.
Seth Curry had the best 3-point percentage, I think, last year or the year before.
Wow.
Yeah, and he shoots like 8 a game, so I mean that's what he's there for. And even if he's not making them, he's still stretching your defense. And when people played the Sixers last season, they just packed the paint and were like, "Go ahead, you all shoot 25% from 3. Good luck."
Danny Green, another good pickup for him.
Yeah.
Ultimate 3-point shooters.
He had a
what did they have to trade for Danny Green too? It wasn't hardly anything, right?
He might have been a free agent because I think he was just a one. Or did he get traded?
They were clearing the Lakers are clearing some space, I think.
Yeah, I think he was just on a 1-year veteran contract to get a title with the Lakers.
It could be it. And then the Lakers didn't choose to bring him back. I don't remember. I thought maybe he got traded.
He might have. You might be right. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I haven't been able to watch very many other games. I wish I could watch Boston more. They look like they are just picking up where they left off.
Yeah, he was part of that Schroeder deal. They sent him with they sent Horford. Philly was able to get off Horford by getting into that Schroeder deal to OKC.
Man, Schroeder.
So that was a good move for them.
Schroeder looks like a good pickup for the Lakers. Well, Philly just beat Boston. What's the late games? It's like Suns and someone. Nuggets and Suns. Nuggets have not looked great.
The Nuggets have not. They've had a hard go of it.
Remember when Jamal Murray could not be stopped in the playoffs in the bubble? Like, I don't know if did you see any of those games? Kevin, did you see any of those games in the bubble?
Oh, he was a stud in the playoffs. Who were they going against?
Utah.
Utah.
When it was him versus Mitchell, we're talking, Kevin, about Mitchell versus Jamal Murray in the playoffs last year. And the whole bubble and playoffs, Murray looked like a stud. And now he's back to like one game he scores 13, one game he scores 40, the next 2 games he scores 18. And it's like, where's this guy that could not be stopped in the playoffs? Like that Utah series, he was just good for 30 every game.
Yeah, at the beginning of this season, I thought, well, shoot, I don't know if I would trade him for James Harden, but that's something that could be considered today.
Do you guys think that Philly is going to regret not trading Ben Simmons? Because that was on the table. And the whole thing was, they were like, we want to keep Thybulle? What's his name?
Yeah.
Matisse Thybulle?
Matisse, yes.
Philly didn't want to let him go in the trade for Harden. So it was like Simmons and Thybulle and whatever 3 picks for Harden. And they were like, no, we want to keep Thybulle. And it's like, what are you doing? Whatever you think of Harden, you pair him with Embiid, some other shooters, and a good defense. Like, I don't know.
I think that they can still get a lot for Ben Simmons if they decided to trade him, but I haven't watched many of their games. Has Simmons not been? He's been shooting 3-pointers, so that's an improvement for him, right?
He's a great chip. Yeah, he hasn't shot a 3 for like 18 games, but like he's a great trade chip. But there's no one to trade for right now. Bradley Beal, I don't think the Wizards are going to do that. They might think of it if they get desperate. But there's just not a lot of trade chips left. Oladipo already moved. Harden moved. Everyone already moved.
Well, if you look at it from the other vantage point, though, too, Houston, they could have had Ben Simmons, who would have been, the second best player in any of these trades that we're talking about. And they could have traded him too if they didn't want him. I think they were playing some hardball with Philly and just doing what they could to drive the price up, and they weren't ever gonna actually do any kind of deal with him just because they hate Daryl Morey so much.
On the other side, the whole problem with the Philly the last couple of seasons has been that you got Simmons and Embiid as your best players, and they can't shoot. Even if you like Embiid, once he gets 10 feet away from the hoop, his percentage is not good. And he shoots 3s, but he shouldn't probably.
Yeah.
So they needed shooting, and they never had it. And now they have it. So once you have shooting with Simmons, that can be a good thing because that dude is like a defensive cheat code. He can guard 1 through 4, sometimes 5.
So how is it that the Timberwolves acquire Ben Simmons? Is that something that we care for? Is that something that is possible?
If it was possible, I would trade everyone but Karl.
Would a Ben Simmons, D'Angelo Russell work combo. I mean,
Absolutely. D'Lo can play off the
Yes.
ball. I mean, they both can.
Yeah, I think if there was a way to manufacture that without trading D'Angelo Russell, then you're making Cat pretty darn happy, and you're adding defense. He can't shoot, but he's surrounded by shooters.
Are you guys watching? Do you guys have this game on?
I was able to turn on the Phoenix Suns Nuggets game.
Yeah, so like right now, you got Jeff Van Gundy calling Stan Van Gundy's game, and they just had a shot up. Jeff Van Gundy not looking great. Doesn't look like he got ready for TV today. He got ready to be a voice on television.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm no one to
He
tell.
didn't comb his hair.
Yeah, he did this. But I love that he's announcing there. He's up. I don't know if you can see it, but he's up on the screen right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the big one. He got these on tonight. Trying to make his head look smaller.
It's what they say. The most important part about video is the audio. Nobody says that. I just made that up.
I mean,
but that's why you need big headphones.
I think when you're looking at YouTube video, that's 100% true. I mean, like, it's gotten better the last couple of years, but like when YouTube first started, you could have terrible visuals, but if your audio was okay, you were okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not anymore. Not as much.
Nobody wants to hear bad audio.
The video would feel amateur with bad audio, but because of like Jackass and like all these weird shows with handheld cameras, people were used to kind of like, more visuals.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, guys, I got to check out pretty soon.
All right. No worries. Thank you for watching the end of the game with me, Baltz. That was great.
Kind of.
I mean, except for not winning and playing awful for the whole game, but
yeah.
At least it was nice to hang out.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Garrett.
You bet.
Have a good night. And, yeah. Maybe tomorrow we do a quick one, but we'll see.
I plan on doing some next week at all because I'm going to be out of town in a hotel room and I got nothing else to do.
Oh, Garrett's getting out of town.
Yeah.
So you're going to bring your whole setup?
I'm going to bring my computer and that's all I need.
Garrett, be honest with me. Are you a cam girl?
Yes. That's actually what I'm going to do right after this. You can go check out Garrett Gilbertson on camgirls.com.
Name down. All right, guys.
I'll give you a promo code. See you later, Baltz. Kevin, since I have you here, and I didn't get to talk to you earlier, I just thought, maybe it would be best to get your thoughts on the big trade that happened. Was it a week ago or 2 weeks ago? But with James Harden.
The Harden trade.
I mean, we haven't had a chance to talk about it and let everyone know your thoughts yet.
Oh, well, it's honestly, I think this is what the owner of the Houston Rockets is looking for. He was happy to get off the big contract.
Yeah.
He's working in a field that's getting ravaged. He's a big restaurateur. He can't afford a basketball team right now. He's looking to make these types of moves, and he had LeVert in the deal, right?
I put it up on the screen so I can read it to you if you want. The Rockets trading Harden for Victor Oladipo, Dante Exum, somebody named Rodimus Crooks. I don't know who that is. and then draft picks. They
Yeah.
get 3 Brooklyn first rounders, the 22, 24, and 26, and they get Milwaukee's first round in 22 that's unprotected. That'll be the 30th.
Well,
They get 4 Brooklyn first round swaps.
This is really, I mean, it's really what the Timberwolves are trying to do or what the Rockets are trying to do when they're trying to get Jimmy Butler. How can you turn down 4 first-round picks? It's 4 first-round picks. They're going to be terrible picks, at least in this instance for Houston. You know, those last couple picks from the Nets might not be so bad either. Those big 3 in Brooklyn are either going to be washed up or they're going to be onto their next contract, onto their next team, chasing the next ring. So those picks, you know, they make some sense, but it was all about getting enough money for Houston. They got Victor Oladipo, who's going to be gone after this season. He's getting the last year of his contract. Everybody knows
he said he doesn't want to be there, right?
And he's trying to get out of there. So he's just going to be padding stats. And for Houston, what do they care? It's going to make it easier for him to sell the team because he's going to have all those picks that whoever becomes the new owner can mold it into the team that they want. James Harden's not happy. He's starting to get into Jimmy Butler's sabotage mode, trying to do what he can to burn the place down. And it's a position that I'll never be able to understand, but you know, I guess that's what these competitors are all about. You know, they do whatever they can to win, and that's what he had to do to win. So now he's on to I want to say New Jersey, but he's in Brooklyn. And, you know, if they had figured out a way to get him to Philadelphia, there's no guarantee he would have stayed there either. So we got Balls back.
Guys, I'm back for 1 minute because I have a funny story to tell that is unrelated to basketball.
Okay. Please
So I had like 4 texts. My phone was blowing up a little bit while we were on the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Okay, so I get a text from an unlisted number. I don't know who this is. I have no previous text from this person. This is the text. Did you take the batteries out of my dildo to put in the thermostat? I mean, like, you can't see it.
You can't see it.
What's gonna be the more energy efficient option? The batteries in the thermostat or the dildo? That's the question.
Well, you have to ask yourself this question: what's more important? It is what, -5 degrees outside, or do you need to pull a little bit of Pleasure Town time? You know.
Hold on, I'm gonna try to switch off my background because I want to see if you can see this, so you believe me.
What did you text back? Did you say yes? Yeah. It was me.
So I texted back, what? Question mark. Because I was thinking it was maybe a friend playing a joke on me. And then they just responded, they're missing, and I can only think of one place where you'd put it. Okay, so how do I turn off this background?
So let me ask you, if the batteries are missing, Kevin, and this person who sent the text can only think of one place they could be, does that sound accurate to you? They chose to think they're in the thermostat.
It's gonna be backwards. That's unfortunate. Yeah. But
I believe you.
We're all texting that number tonight.
Yeah.
Who is this?
What size batteries do you need?
Yeah.
No. I can only think of one place where you'd put it.
The thermostat only takes AAA. Well, that's a good story. I'm glad that you were able to share that, Balls. I thought you were going to say, like, hey, Ryan Saunders texted me and I didn't know his number and he said, quit talking shit about me.
I mean, you can't make this up. I'm like, I feel like, do you remember Ian that used to work at Shop?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the kind of thing that he would send me if I got a new phone number.
That's funny.
But
Well, good on you, man.
I might have to do a little searching. I'll keep you updated, Garrett. I'll send you a text if I get to the bottom of this.
Well, yeah, let me know who would possibly missing batteries in their dildo.
And where they put them.
Where could they be? I can think of more than one spot that they could be.
I mean, this guy said there's only one spot that they like.
Whoa. How do you know it's a guy?
You're right.
You seem like you might already know who it is.
I don't at this point.
I mean, I could think of a few things. Could they be under the bed, under the chair?
Could be anywhere.
Could they have fallen out?
And ... And now I think they're terrified. I should respond. Why would you send your grandmother that?
Yeah, this is Nana.
Also, I did put them in my dildo. My bigger.
It's funny. Well done.
Okay. Guys, I'm out again to hopefully receive some more weird texts.
Keep us updated. We'll do a check-in later. All right. Well, that
yeah, I don't
random.
know. I don't think I have too much more perspective on the Harden trade other than Jared Allen. He's a good player, playing for the Cavs.
Yeah, that would be the other thing I would ask you, Kevin. Is were you surprised that the Cavaliers got in and were able to pluck Jared Allen? I mean, he is a good player, right?
Yeah, I mean, why is it that? Well, it seems like the Pacers came in late in the game. They came in after everything was finalized.
Well, the Pacers had to be involved in order to get Victor Oladipo to Houston.
Yeah.
And I think getting Karis LeVert, is that how you say it? It's not Chris, right? It's Karis. In order to get him, who is very talented and not as injury prone as Oladipo, I mean, they made out
I don't know about
okay.
that, though. LeVert's been in and out his whole career. He's we saw him play against the Timberwolves, broke his leg against the Timberwolves.
That's right.
And thank God he was traded because he had the physical. They found a growth on his kidney.
Mm-hmm.
Trade damn near saved his life. Possibly. I don't know what exactly that growth was, if they've figured out what that's about yet, but a good move for him. Getting a little checkout by the doctors. I'm supposing with COVID, not getting their physicals quite as often as maybe they would at the start of the season. And God bless it.
Yeah. Well, I was surprised to see that the Cavaliers were able to get Jared Allen, and now they've been looking since the team made the trade. They're looking like a credible opponent instead of a bottom dweller that they've been since LeBron left, right?
It's amazing. I mean, when LeBron left, it seemed like they were doomed to another Timberwolves type future, and they got the player that the Timberwolves wanted with that Jarrett Culver pick. They picked Darius Garland right in front of them, and Colin Sexton. Well, he was that Nets pick too. He was the guy who was in the Kyrie trade that the Nets pick, however long ago that they made that KG deal. Finally was the last piece of that puzzle. And yeah, I don't know. I kind of thought he was overrated for a while, but now he's turning it on. And you got that offensive backcourt. You can do what you want with that great defensive front court to keep things from getting out of hand. It's a good balance that they've struck there, getting a rim stopper like Jared Allen to join the team.
So here's what I think should happen now that they made that trade. I think the T-Wolves should just go ahead, trade for Kevin Love, and reunite him with his friend Ricky Rubio. The pieces are falling into place to make a end of the career reunion that in a meaningless season for the Wolves if they continue to lose. Why not? You can put fans in the seats. Oh wait, no, you can't. They could sell ticket. No, they can't. Viewership will be up. Nope, it's
no way to watch them.
Pretty high, yeah. No way to watch it. Never mind.
Well,
no, but really, do you think the Cavs now they have to be trading Kevin Love at some point this year? He hasn't even played yet, has he?
Well, I'm thinking the guy that they'll figure out a way to move is Drummond. He's on the last year of his deal.
Yeah.
He's getting paid about $30 million, but he's going to be due for a new deal, and that might be the move that we see them make before the end of the season, trying to get, who knows, maybe New Jersey involved again. Getting those New Jersey Nets involved again, those Brooklyn Nets involved again. It looks like Kevin Love's sitting at 2 games played, scoring. He's year 32 now. He's 32 years old. And if we're talking about even a mid-level exception contract on Kevin Love, yeah, I'd go for it. But at his contract, I don't see a way that the Timberwolves could possibly cobble together the $28 million in salaries that are needed to get him, unless they're trading away their whole team, which why would they do that? They need a power forward, but looks like he's on the books through the year 2023. He's got a player option for 22, 23, and it'd be hard. Well, it looks like it's actually less than the 2 years before that, but it'd be hard for him to turn down almost $29 million when he'll be 37 years old, 35 years old then. So good for him though.
Yeah, good on him.
Yeah, I don't see anybody. He's the one of those contracts where in order to get off it, they're probably going to have to get rid of a first two or one of their young players that I'm sure they don't want to part with. So could have thrown in Kevin Porter. Just kidding.
They released him, right?
They traded him to Houston for a top 55 protected second round pick.
Did that just happen?
That happened last night. So they were desperate to get off his contract, and he's definitely one of those players where you look at him and you say, well, he's got some talent, but is it enough talent to overcome his
downfalls,
the things that happen in the locker room that are not good, that are not team player type of work. So it'll be interesting to see what's the next big trade that'll happen in the NBA. You got to think that maybe the Wizards start making some moves, although they can't even play games. It seems like they haven't played forever, but it looks like they're sitting at 3-8 so they've only played a few less games than the Timberwolves have. But Bradley Beal is kind of the guy that, along with Karl-Anthony Towns for the longest time, people are saying that those guys are going to want to get moved, but they both seem happy in their situation. There's a lot of teams that would like Bradley Beal on their team. He's a good player.
For sure.
And Russell Westbrook, he's not good. He's not that good anymore, but he's at least he can excite a fan base at least.
I don't know if I would say he's not that good anymore, but I do think he's an odd fit next to Bradley Beal when Westbrook needs that super athletic, power forward or center to kind of play the pick and roll with. Him and Bradley Beal next to each other obviously hasn't been working out. I don't know. Have you read any talks about where Bradley Beal would want to go, where possibly he would? Because now it feels like the trade season is kind of, or the trade market is kind of dried up with Harden going to the Nets.
Yeah, I mean, he's not trying to get out of Washington, so there's no place that you would really think for him to go. I would think that they at least see how this season goes before they start trying to make any moves. Detroit, they're a lost cause. They got a big contract in Blake Griffin. He's kind of in the same scenario as Russell Westbrook. A good player, used to be great, but also injury prone. And who are some other bottom dwellers right now? Maybe the Rockets. If John Wall, if he starts turning things on, being impressive. DeMarcus Cousins really isn't. He's just been signing minimum contracts here for the last few years. So
well, he hasn't proven that he's the same player he was, before his ruptured Achilles tendon and all of it.
So I don't know if there's too many more moves to be had out there. Teams like the Timberwolves, a team like the Timberwolves, I could see making a trade because they got to kind of start consolidating their assets. They've got too many wings, and they need to figure out a way, especially if they're going to be a bottom team that potentially loses their pick next year. How are they gonna get in next year's draft? Maybe it's by shipping off one of their mid-level players, seeing what that gets for them. You hope it's not a guy like Ricky Rubio, but looking at him right now, that might be their best asset, tradable asset.
I mean, I think everybody on the team is touchable other than Karl and D'Angelo Russell. I think if a team came asking for Malik Beasley, I would think about it. Maybe not tomorrow, but after a few more losses and the season is out of hand, I would start that rebuild process. What I don't want to see them do is trade a guy like a Kogi, who I think has that energy and defensive presence, and I don't think he's done improving. But is his improvement going to be good enough to justify keeping him through a rebuild process that they are certainly possibly headed for? I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
I don't want to see them. I want to see them play together healthy. They haven't had that chance for like 3-4 years.
Yeah, and at some point too, if the season keeps getting too out of hand, and Karl-Anthony Towns has a hand that's out of hand, then
out of hand. Yeah, it would be unfortunate to see them have to give up a season. And I don't think that the season's out of hand just yet, but I do hope that Karl comes back soon. They're a different team, right? When he's on the court or just is healthy and is a part of the team, to have to be in quarantine, they're missing him, right? They're missing his presence in the locker room, on the court, everywhere. We hope he gets better and comes back healthy.
Yeah, it'd at least be nice to see him out there going, "Come on, guys."
Yeah. Pull down a rebound once in a while. I agree, my friend. I don't know. You got anything you want to talk about?
Oh man, I've been out of the loop lately. So out of the hoop loop.
If you were able to watch the game tonight, the one thing I thought was a little weird was that Anthony Edwards only played like 15, 18 minutes. I don't remember what the box score was, but he had an off night, right? And it seems like it's kind of trending that direction. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I watched the last 2 or 3 minutes or so, and he was making some pretty bad plays there when there wasn't a lot on the line. If you are trying to you're right under the hoop trying to make a basket or trying to make a pass, try to make it to one of your own players if you can.
Yeah, I would like to see him definitely make smarter plays, and unfortunately, that hasn't been happening.
24 minutes tonight on 2 for 12. Boy. Turning the ball
until
over.
The fourth quarter, he was over. He was putting up a goose egg.
Turning the ball over 3 times. But hey, Jake Layman ends the game with a +5.
Yeah, we joked out. While Mike and I were watching the game, we were joking that Jake Layman was him and Naz Reid were the only players in the plus for the game.
Kogi ended up with a +1 on 3 points in 19 minutes. Well, yeah, this is a hard team to figure out things to talk about. Let's be honest. If they had just one win, or they have had one win since their 2-game start, but I'd like to see a couple more. Give us something exciting to talk about because this team is what we're accustomed to as opposed to what we're hoping for.
I agree, man. I'm kind of sick of watching the team struggle. I want to get to a point where we can be happy about the T-Wolves and how great they can play. And as it looks right now, those days are far ahead, right?
At least until Cat comes back. It's all on you now, Cat. It's all on you,
we
buddy.
Need you. Yeah, I think tomorrow's night's game will be fun to watch, only because Zion will be playing. Unless Cat came back tomorrow, but I haven't heard anything about that. How long has he been out for? Do you remember?
I heard that the soonest he'd be able to come back is versus the Warriors.
Okay, next week.
And I know they got a couple of games against the Warriors, so I'm not even sure which one that is. Looks like they're going to be on the Entertainment Sports Network on Wednesday playing against Golden State. But those are late games, so we'll see if we make it up that late. Playing against New Orleans tomorrow. That'll be a tough one. They've got, of course, Zion. They got Brandon Ingram, who was an all-star last year. Lonzo Ball's in the last year of his contract. Is he part of their long-term future? Almost forgetting.
I can't imagine he is. Haven't they been? Does Lonzo Ball start for the Pelicans, or isn't it?
It looks like it's Lonzo and Bledsoe starting in the backcourt.
Eric Bledsoe.
I heard Alexander Walker's had some good games. They got JJ Redick as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if Zion's not hot tomorrow, it's a game that we could possibly see Timberwolves standing a chance in, but with it being the second night of a back-to-back and them being out Cat and who else will be out tomorrow with it being a back-to-back, just got to start dropping those tears in your whiskey glass.
Yes.
Sooner rather than later.
I'm looking forward to watching the athleticism that is Zion tomorrow night, and that's about it. I hope Beasley comes in. I feel like he didn't play the greatest tonight, which I was surprised by. He started hot in the game, but didn't finish as strong as we needed him to. So, yeah, moving ahead, this team is kind of right where we don't want to be, which is the bottom of the Western Conference with not a lot of hope in sight. But it's fun to watch them play these young guys. It's cool to see, McDaniel's getting some run. Vanderbilt is still impressing as far as the energy goes.
We'll get them someday.
Someday,
Timberwolves
one
fans.
day. Well, I appreciate it, Kevin. Thanks for making it on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll try and do this again next week. But until then, thanks for joining, buddy.
Thank you. Be well.
You as well. We will see you again soon.